There's never been a better time for social media than during lockdowns, when COVID ushered us into our homes and expected us to find entertainment for what would turn out to be months. TV shows dried up, so where did people head? Social media. It was already well established in people's lives before COVID, certainly, but it was only when a pandemic spread across the globe that the reality of social media and its consequences really set in. Anyone can be hooked by false leads, like conspiracy theories. Everyone can name one. There are endless lists of people in Hollywood that are supposedly reptiles. We faked the moon landing, despite the technology to do so not even existing at the time. Believing the earth is flat and vaccines cause autism. Conspiracy theories in general have floated around long before COVID, but anti-vax movements in particular have seen a blossom of support lately, with skepticism surrounding vaccine rollouts and raised eyebrows as to the agenda of the medical community, or Bill Gates apparently. The reaction to hearing these stories is probably laughter by most. Maybe some derision, a comment about, how could you be so stupid? Indeed, it's nice to sit from a superiority position and say, we would never be fooled by such things. Says who? Any implication that most of us aren't as susceptible to manipulation and disinformation is utterly false. We've just been manipulated in other ways. All of us have been manipulated at one time or another, in all kinds of levels and degrees. Social media creates rabbit holes the longer you dig. It's like smoking. It's easier to never smoke or give it up after only one cigarette, but it's extremely challenging when it becomes a habit after months and years. Protesters are claiming that all elite figures in this world, especially political figures, are blood-sucking Satanist pedophiles. So oddly specific and so extreme that to the average person, these claims do not make any sense at all. Yet people are so convinced of these stories that it leads them to violence. So many people believe that the reality we live in is constructed by the government, and it's all a hoax. I don't understand how people could be so convinced that the coronavirus isn't real and made up by the government or Bill Gates, or that when the COVID vaccine is finished, the government will be injecting a chip into you at the same time. Some even believe that these concepts were made up by the CIA in order to control the minds of the public. It starts with a critique of a certain situation. You may search for a particular topic in some kind of media, such as YouTube, for example. Once your search is complete, you'll be able to find conspiracies about this topic online. After watching these, you may start to believe that the media constructs our reality and that everything we are told is fake news. The most important step is cruciality of algorithms. Once we start with one conspiracy video, the algorithms of social media facilitate the continuation of watching more and more videos, allowing us to find more and more conspiracies. People love a good shocking story, and it's the goal of the social media algorithms to keep you watching for as long as possible. This translates to ad revenue, which is the ultimate goal for any social media giant. Therefore, we are fed more related content that keeps us in the loop of media consumption. Fake news is spread like wildfire, and conspiracies are viewed and believed by millions, regardless of fact-checking services. They may work, but they're mechanical and don't catch everything. People believe that they are choosing what they are watching, but in reality, that's the algorithm doing its job. People are sucked deeper and deeper into these rabbit holes of conspiracies, making them believe that they are seeing the whole picture. This results in them forming their own alternate reality, which spawns into forming groups and communities of conspirators and spreading misinformation. This is why there are people who believe Trump is a good person, or the Democratic Party leaders are all pedophiles, Satan worshippers, and engage in human trafficking. The difficulty here is that no one knows where to actually begin to fix these issues. Everyone has the right to freedom of speech. Yet the spread of lies and hate is extremely dangerous and can lead to violence and terrorism. Social media algorithms are grossly overlooked and need more careful consideration, especially in relation to politics and the well-being of the world. I would be very careful about belief systems and always be critical when receiving information about any topic. Do your own research and use critical thinking on everything. Don't believe everything people are telling you on any social media platform, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, or TikTok. Twitter timelines and Facebook feeds are curated for us on the basis of prior activity. The more you interact, the more an echo chamber forms around your social media. We are barraged with content from people who think the same way as us. Who can blame us for assuming that this is the way everyone thinks? On the basis of information curated for us, we think flat earthers and anti-vaxxers are growing movements of, simply put, idiots. Yet the people in these groups do not simply wake up one morning and choose to deny established science and reality. These conspiracy groups come to their conclusions on the basis of information curated for them over time. They may think they are connecting the dots of a mystery, which may be hidden or purposely kept from mainstream media, which makes it all the more interesting and engaging. Misleading headlines are not the problem. It certainly doesn't help when established media offers headlines that give further fuel to these groups. The Daily Express, for example, posted a video about a vaccine investigation after a person died within a few hours of a jab, quote unquote. Of course, they elaborate and cite a doctor who says the death was unlikely related, as allergic reactions typically occur within 15 to 30 minutes. But that headline makes enough of a dangerous implication. Shortly, another story was posted by the Express about a COVID patient dying soon after getting a second vaccine dose. Actually, they died because COVID can still be contracted after the first dose. Indeed, the Daily Express accepts this, but their headline didn't think it was important enough to mention. However, the blame cannot be dumped on the media. Sensationalist headlines exist because there is an audience waiting for them. Sensationalist headlines like these are just one of the numerous sources that are fed into an individual's curated feedback loop. The Daily Express might be to blame for sensationalism, but it cannot be blamed for the nature of headlines overall. So who is to blame? Let's look at algorithms and machine learning. When the algorithms detect a user is more likely to show interest in conspiracy themes, they simply serve up more of your preference. Facebook gets criticism for housing condensed amounts of extremism and fake news, but YouTube's recommendation system is cut from a similar cloth. Algorithms cannot detect truth. All they know is that a user has clicked on a type of video, and so this user needs to be shown more of that video type. This is fine when that genre is essays about films or skits or video game commentary. A consumer of harmless entertainment is fed more harmless entertainment. However, this changes when a user is introduced to extremist content, often of a political or religious flavor. The algorithms recommend more, known as a pipeline. This goes for conspiracy theorists. They're drowned in content that confirms their narratives. Why would they have any reason to believe otherwise? Algorithms inherently lack morality or an incentive to steer people away from disinformation. Algorithms that see users spiraling down rabbit holes are not malfunctioning or crossing the line. They're simply working as expected. Perhaps it's time we stop staring at the idiots across the aisle who've fallen victim to disinformation rabbit holes and instead started looking at who or what is pushing them into it. Only then can we begin to look at this from a comprehensive overall perspective in order to solve society's problems and live a healthier life, both mentally and physically. Take care of yourself and take care of each other.